I have been around cannons that have gone off. I've been around avalanche work on mountains, and this was louder than any noise I'd ever heard in my life. You know, I love being outside. Anything that I can do to enjoy the outdoor world, just going for a hike or going on a solo hunt, not becoming one with nature, but sliding right alongside of nature and seeing what the world looks like from a basic view. But then also family is super, super important to me. My commitment to my family and supporting what we do as a group. My accident or my, unfortunate situation, I still have pieces of that have hung on to this day, and it's affected me pretty heavily throughout my life. I was in a situation where, I was on a job site and we were using overhead cranes. I was the ground guy, and it was the last pick of the day. The crane was swinging around, and it was a big lift up overhead, so I was backing away from the lift, and so I wasn't really aware that there had been a Jersey barrier, or one of those concrete barricades that you see on the highway sides. They'd slid one of those into a different position, and I backed myself right into that. It hit me right at that hinge point, and my feet went up, and I went over the back, and I didn't know that I was falling, because of that twilight time, and there was no real horizon line that caught my eye. So I went backwards and plowed my head straight into the asphalt on the other side of the Jersey barrier. And the last thing I remember was hearing the loudest sound I'd ever heard in my life. I have been around cannons that have gone off. I've been around avalanche work on mountains, and this was louder than any noise I'd ever heard in my life. As it turns out, there were a couple other guys that heard it too from across the site, but it was my head hitting the pavement and the noise that was inside my head. And the next thing I know, I woke up and I was on my belly, not really knowing where I was. No one was around me. I'd fallen behind this Jersey, so they didn't really realize that I was down. After a period of time, I was able to stand up, and I felt rattled, but I was, like a lot of guys in construction, it's bred in you to be the tough guy and tough it out and get back to work and finish the job. And so, that's how I grew up, and that's what I did. And eventually, one of the other guys on the ground forced me to sit on a pickup bed, and I couldn't understand why. I was like, "Why are you making me sit down? What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Well, I just saw you walk across the yard here, and it looks like you're drunk. You couldn't walk. You were tipping over and stumbling, and he goes, and you're not really talking right." That's kind of when I realized that I really kind of was hurt, and eventually, went to the hospital and started my journey of recovery. I had a hard time be talking with you like this right now and awkwardly pause for 15 seconds. So, speech was tough, balance was tough, reading was tough. Overall, it was, I got to a point where I got really, really angry, like violently angry. And it was hard on me, and it was hard on my family. My recovery's been years. I wasn't really feeling fully functional until like the last couple of years. And my accident was like, 8 years ago. If you think about a hard hat or a helmet or anything that you see worn anywhere in America, anywhere across the world, traditionally it has had that same look, and it's evolved from an aluminum shell to maybe a fiberglass shell to a plastic shell with some webbing on the inside, and that was it. And if you got a side hit to you or a big enough top hit, it really wasn't protecting you, and it certainly wasn't protecting your brain. So I'm stoked that STUDSON has the ability to to grab into other industries and pull some really good technology to save a person's brain versus just protect a skull. So I've consciously made a choice to stand by STUDSON because I believe that their mission behind their business and their strategies is one that will protect anybody and everybody that is out in the construction industry and can make a significant impact on brain trauma throughout the world.